Today is the 12th of March 2020. A Muslim went on a stabbing spree last night in Melbourne, Australia. Police shot dead Mohammed Ibrahim after he stabbed two people to death and left a third person in critical condition. Now, the police have ruled out any links to terrorism. In other words, move along, folks, there's nothing to see here. Okay, this is an article on the story in the Daily Mail. Quote, biggest concern normally is when the gardener arrives, unquote. How a stabbing that's left two dead and one critical in a, quote, perfect street, unquote, of a suburb where ex-premiers, police commissioners and celebrities call home has shocked Melbourne. The street where a woman was stabbed to death and another seriously injured is among the most affluent in Australia. To most, Hawthorne's Copen Grove is a world away from the ordinary Australian reality. To call it leafy is a disservice to the perception of leafy. Here, people are accommodating, friendly, polite, and wealthy. Many live behind large walls and gates, protected from a threat that would not have been contemplated for perhaps generations. That complacency was shattered on Wednesday night when a crazed knifeman stabbed to death a woman outside her Copping Grove home. Another was seriously injured. Police believe it was a completely random attack. Quote, wrong time, wrong place, unquote, police said. But Copping Grove should have been the right place. As police in white suits washed blood off the streets, gardeners just down the road continued to prune the hedges of their millionaire employers. Two youths who approached the media pack that had congregated on the street were keen to talk about the incident. They appeared to be keen for a laugh and to get their heads on the television. Much of what they said rang hollow, but they described the street as, quote, perfect, unquote. Other neighbours shared similar sentiment. Quote, it's very hard to comprehend. It's now going to make me put a front fence up. That's for sure, unquote, one neighbour told reporters. Another neighbour who lived a stone's throw from the attack could not believe what she was seeing. She had heard nothing and was shocked to learn a woman had been murdered on the street. The scene was described as like something from a Hollywood movie. The victim on Copping Grove was a 30-year-old woman. She died at the scene. The other woman, 31, screamed, alerting neighbours who called police, but the man had already fled towards Kew. She was taken to the Alfred Hospital in a critical condition with significant injuries. A hospital spokesman said her condition improved during the day and she was stable by Thursday afternoon. A sign on the door of their Copping Grove flat asked reporters to leave them alone. The killer had been shot dead by police after killing the woman and another man and leaving the third woman fighting for her life. Police said the random act of senseless violence appeared to have started about 10:40 p.m. on Wednesday. A protective services officer at Jolimont train station was approached by a stranger and stabbed, receiving non-life-threatening cuts to his face and arm. He had asked two PSOs for directions before attacking one of them, quote, without further conversation, unquote, police said. Police said the attacker, a 34-year-old from Roxburgh Park in the city's far north, armed with a small switchblade and two larger kitchen knives, then ran through the concourse of the Melbourne cricket ground and got on a train at Richmond Station. Soon after, two women were found in a car at Hawthorne about 11:20 p.m. with life-threatening stab wounds. They had been arriving at their home on Copping Grove when they were attacked. Police were then called to reports of a man stabbed at Kew about 12:15 a.m. on Thursday. That man was stabbed at a tram stop as he was walking in the suburb and died in hospital, while the attacker was found close to the crime scene. Police tried to arrest him, but he was killed when officers fired their guns. By that point, police said a quote, large police operation unquote, was underway. Witnesses said they heard three gunshots as his rampage came to an end, as well as quote, aggressive unquote, shouting. Quote, there is nothing to suggest at this stage this is nothing less than a random act of senseless violence, unquote, Assistant Commissioner Glenn Weir told reporters at the scene. Chief Commissioner Graham Ashton said the attacker did not have a criminal history but has been flagged in the police system for mental health. The attacker's estranged partner and child, who have an intervention order out against him, are safe. His name has not been released yet because police are still talking to his family. However, we do know his name now. The PSO was expected to have surgery on Thursday and remains in a stable condition. AC Weir said police tried to use, quote, a number of less than lethal options, unquote, to make the attacker give himself up. Tasers were also used and police recorded the attempt to arrest the attacker on their body cameras. Quote, he was called upon to surrender and he didn't, unquote, he said. Quote, the ball was in his court, unquote. Police said there is nothing to indicate the people involved in the attacks were known to each other. Victoria Police have also sought to reassure the public, saying there are no other offenders related to the stabbing spree. Well, there you go, guys. Diversity is our strength. Okay, look after yourselves out there. Until next time, take care and God bless.